This evening, President Dr. Mohamed Irfaan Ali reaffirms Ghana's commitment to peacefully resolve the border controversy with Venezuela. We'll bring you the President's message to residents in Region 1 and how international support plays a role in this ongoing issue. Allegations of corruption in housing matters circulate on social media. The Ministry of Housing and Water addresses these claims and emphasizes its commitment to integrity. We'll have the details on the ministry's response and actions against corrupt transactions. A brutal murder investigation unfolds in Unity Mahaica, East Coast Demerara. Churo Manti Tulsi was found dead in her home under disturbing circumstances. We'll provide updates on the investigation and the custody of 3 individuals for questioning. In Argentina, concerns rise over economic reform proposed by incoming far-right President Javier Milei. Find out how these reforms, including proposal to shut down the central bank to fight inflation, are impacting the country. Severe floods in Kenya, Somalia, and Ethiopia result in more than 100 deaths and displacements of hundreds of thousands. We'll have the latest on the flood situation in the region and the challenges faced by affected communities. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for November 24th, 2023. I am Baby Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, President Dr. Mohamed Irfaan Ali assured residents in Region 1 of Ghana's unwavering commitment to peacefully resolve the ongoing border controversy with Venezuela during a visit to the communities on Thursday, November 23rd, emphasizing a vigilant stance. President Ali underscored that the nation is following international guidelines and believes Venezuela will act responsibly. Stressing unity, he called for residents to remain alert and reject propaganda that aims to instill fear. The head of state reiterated Ghana's commitment to a peaceful resolution through international laws and the International Court of Justice. However, the president noted that Ghana has the full support of international partners, including the Commonwealth countries, CARICOM, neighboring Brazil, and other external partners, including the United States. He highlighted the government's dedication to protecting territorial integrity, working closely with Guyana Defense Force and relevant agencies. In other news, the Ministry of Housing and Water is addressing the allegations of corrupt activities by certain employees related to housing matters circulating on social media. Emphasizing its commitment to integrity, the ministry urges individuals with concrete evidence to report it to the Ghana Police Force, ministers, or the Permanent Secretary, ensuring confidentiality. The ministry pledges thorough internal investigations into any genuine reports of misconduct and emphasizes zero tolerance for corruption. It reassures the public that disciplinary actions and legal measures will be taken against employees involved in corrupt transactions. The ministry has intensified monitoring in response to the allegations and reminds the public of its direct application process for house lots without middlemen. Now on to a developing story. 3 individuals are in custody for questioning regarding the brutal murder of Churo Manti Tulsi, also known as Anita, in Unity Mahaica, East Coast Demerara. Tulsi was discovered dead in her home with her mouth gagged and a knife in her throat on Wednesday, November 22nd around 8 a.m. The investigation revealed that her handbag and house keys were missing. Relatives suspect her 5-year-old son, found locked in the upper flat, may have witnessed the killing. Tulsi was last seen alive around 7 p.m. on Tuesday, and her lifeless body was found after concerned individuals broke a door lock following the discovery of her son in the upper flat. Crime Chief Wendell Blanham confirmed the detention of the 3 individuals in connection with the case. Stick around when we return. Juvenile students assault on-duty constable on the east coast of Demerara, and a 72-year-old man nabbed with 23 grams of cocaine at Freedom Hope.
Giving you the best Christmas with Digicel.
Digicel is bringing you the best deals, the best prices, and the best cash prizes. Hold on to your Santa hats because there's up to $50 million in cash to be won. Activate any data plan and you can be one of 14 winners to join Digicel's Spin to Win game show, where you can win millions in cash. Activate a data plan today on the best network and make this Christmas the best one yet.
Digicel.
Good girl forget things.
What's the
problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for doing surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
This Black Friday sale. Shop your favorite designer brands at half price only at Clearance. For men, Levi's jeans, Kenneth Cole shoes, designer shirts, sneakers, jerseys, jeans, and a whole lot more. For ladies, evening gowns, short dresses, work suits, sandals and shoes and accessories. Remember, this sale is only for Black Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Friday, November 24th at Clearance. Clearance, always keeping you in style.
Welcome to Kissoon's Furniture. Find everything you need for your home and more under one roof in our newly decorated showroom. Our locally crafted furniture has been perfected over the last 60 years. From our hands to your home. We also bring to you our newly introduced lines of imported furniture and sleep center, where you can find a wide range of beds and mattresses. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 60 years.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brickdam and White Castle Fish Shop. Be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Hello, my fellow TikToker followers. He is Credit, and today all we will be making Chinese noodles with peppies, chow mein, chicken fritters, and spice cake. For the noodles, all of these will be using peppies, black pepper, cashew,
Chinese sauce, soy sauce, garlic sauce, paprika, Chinese seasoning, chow mein seasoning, five spice, and all-purpose seasoning.
Next, this chicken that we marinated, soak for all you don't know nothing with peppies, green seasoning, miracle seasoning,
pepper sauce, chicken seasoning, paprika, garlic powder, jerk seasoning, black pepper, onion powder, and ginger powder, and document plantain flour, and then this butter we make with this quick piece powder, and we
boil in oil. We serve with peppies, barbecue sauce. Radica went to the supermarket and she probably buy up enough things. She feels she alone can cook, but she routine even wrong. He shaped like a guy in a map.
Peppies has a wide range of ingredients available at supermarkets nationwide. Peppies, we put the pep back into your kitchen.
Welcome back. Police are investigating an incident of alleged unlawful wounding involving a 23-year-old police constable, Rameshwar Chunilal, stationed at Coven John Police Station and attached to the traffic department. The incident occurred around 3:30 p.m. on Thursday, November 23rd at Hope Public Road on the east coast of Demerara. Constable Chunilal, on traffic duty, intervened in a fight between two students. The juvenile fifth form student, armed with a piece of wood, lashed Constable Chunilal on the head, causing injuries. The constable was treated at the Dumbaklas Health Center and released. However, the juvenile suspect is currently in custody, cooperating with further investigations. In other news, a 72-year-old pensioner, Collymore Scipio, was apprehended at Reading Hoop with 23 grams of cocaine. The police, acting on a tip-off, approached Scipio near the Reading Hoop police outpost, discovering a plastic bag containing 4 rock-like substances suspected to be cocaine. He was arrested and the seized substance, weighing 23 grams, was taken to the Parfait Harmony police station. Scipio is in custody pending further investigation and is expected to face charges. Moving on, prisoners and their loved ones are getting ready for the heartwarming kickoff of the Ghana Prison Services Christmas Family Bonding Visit at prisons across the nation starting December 4th, 2023. Designed to strengthen family bonds, These visits provide inmates with a brief but cherished reunion with their loved ones, sharing meals and precious moments together. Director of Prisons Nicolon Elliott emphasizes the positive impact of these visits on family reconnection during the festive season, recognizing the challenges faced by prisoners' families. The annual initiative aims to offer practical and emotional support, acknowledging the hidden sentences served by the prisoners' families. Family members and loved ones are reminded that the Christmas family bonding visit begins on December 4th and runs until December 15th. Interested family members can contact specific prison locations for further information. Don't go away after the break. East Africa floods, thousands displaced across 3 countries, and Gaza truce deal. First halt to hostilities in 7 weeks.
Giving you the best Christmas with Digicel.
This Christmas, it's all about the best. Digicel is bringing you the best deals, the best prices, and the best cash prizes. Get half off and a whopping 50 gigs of data when you purchase the Samsung A04 for just $14,000, the Samsung A14 for just $29,000, or the Samsung A24 for just $35,000. That's right, half off and 50 gigs of data. It doesn't get any better than this. So why wait? This Christmas, buy nothing but the best. Offer good while stocks last.
Digicel.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Our smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Is there a man in your life?
You interested in the man or you interested in me? Look, one of me baby daddy don't pay child support on time. And the other baby daddy, well, he had 3 other baby mother he deal with. And my sugar daddy, he just want to call the sugar only for the weekend. And he only want to give the sugar for the mountain.
It's nothing to laugh about 14. November 25 and 26 at the National Cultural Center.
Why? When something go learn and get a little sense, buddy, be smart like me. You got to know when to read between the lines. That is bare stupidness, she's saying.
Tickets are $1,500, $2,500, and $3,000. Get your tickets at the Payless Variety Store, the National Cultural Center, and the Giftland Office Max.
If a catty tell me she was a daddy funeral, so I say no, I gonna roll up and I gonna meet she and I gonna deal with she right there.
A catty at the funeral?
What you mean? Does he know thing right about now?
Nothing to laugh about 14.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for doing surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brickdam and White Castle Fish Shop, be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Welcome to Kissoon's Furniture. Find everything you need for your home and more under one roof in our newly decorated showroom. Our locally crafted furniture has been perfected over the last 60 years. From our hands to your home, we also bring to you our newly introduced lines of imported furniture and sleep center, where you can find a wide range of beds and mattresses. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 60 years.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. In Argentina, many are worried about the impact of economic reform proposed by incoming far-right President Javier Milei. He wants to shut down the central bank to fight inflation, Al Jazeera's Teresa Bull reports.
For 46 years, they have been coming to this plaza in front of the presidential palace to demand to know the whereabouts of their missing children. Argentina back then was ruled by a brutal military dictatorship that tortured, disappeared and killed thousands of center-left political opponents. But these women never gave up. Candela Fernandez says the election of far-right candidate Javier Milei has stirred fears among human rights activists that freedom of speech and political activism in the country might soon be at risk again.
There is fear about what will happen in a country with a government with an agenda like Milei's. It also generates the uncertainty that we will have to resist.
Javier Milei has promised to reform the Argentine state and implement austerity measures that will reduce government spending. People here fear that this will impoverish the population and that this will lead to violent protests on the streets.
Javier Milei is now getting his cabinet ready ahead of his inauguration on December 10th. He says he's also planning a trip to Israel to show his support to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. For Argentina, his victory is a radical shift to the right. Milei has questioned a decade-long consensus on the atrocities committed by the dictatorship. Argentina has trialed and detained at least 1,000 members of the security forces involved in human rights abuses.
The new vice president has defended those who committed a genocide. They compare what left-wing guerrillas did with the abuses committed by the state. It was state terrorism, and it is not the same.
Argentina is preparing for the beginning of a new era. Most people are desperate for economic stability, but others fear there may be a steep price to pay. Teresa Bull, Al Jazeera, Buenos Aires.
Internationally, more than 100 people have died after severe floods in Kenya, Somalia, and Ethiopia. Hundreds of thousands have been forced from their homes. Weeks of heavy rains have followed 3 years of drought across the region, Al Jazeera's Malcolm Webb reports.
This is what weeks of torrential rain has done to towns, villages and farmland on the banks of the Tana River. More than 170,000 people have been forced from their homes by floods here in Kenya. Many had to swim or wade to the safety of higher ground where they're staying in camps. Some didn't make it. Rukia Delane and her children are among those who did.
The flood came to our home and we had to cross the water to come here. I was able to save the children, but our chickens were washed away. Here we've had to drink dirty water and the children have diarrhea.
Rukia's children aren't alone. This baby's also had diarrhea since arriving at the camp, along with his sister. There's no clean water to drink. The Red Cross takes them to hospital. It says it'll supply water at the camps, but it needs support.
Looking at what the weatherman has predicted, that we are about to experience the peak of this, and given that it's likely to go over 6 months, the humanitarian needs are going to be huge. That means it's going to be large-scale need for humanitarian assistance.
Meteorologists had predicted the rains. They're connected to the El Niño, a climate cycle in the Pacific Ocean. 2 months ago, the government said it put aside about $65 million to help people. The deputy president has since said there are no funds available.
Yeah, it can be stolen. The corruption can come in, when it is not well coordinated.
Many of the flooded communities are now only accessible by air. From the helicopter, you can really get a sense of the scale of these floods, and all along the banks of the Tana River, thousands of farms have been submerged, the crops destroyed, and this comes off the back of one of the worst droughts in this region in about 40 years. Climate scientists say the cycle of shocks is only expected to get worse. The scientists say the climatic trends can only be stopped by a global reduction in carbon emissions. Governments are due to discuss it at the UN's climate change conference next week in Dubai. Many people here can barely afford fossil fuels, but they pay the highest price. Malcolm Webb, Al Jazeera, Tana River County, Kenya.
And finally, a 4-day truce and the expected release of some Palestinian prisoners and Israeli captives will bring some relief to a population who have endured almost 7 weeks of Israeli bombardment. This is the first opportunity people have had to move around without the threats of Israeli airstrikes since October the 7th. Al Jazeera's Michael Appel begins our coverage.
For the first time in 7 weeks, the sunrise over Gaza had a different soundscape. Well, not completely. Some explosions were heard early on Friday morning before the ceasefire came into effect. Telltale smoke above the skyline.
We are still nervous. We are happy that the ceasefire is started and the killing stops. And we are praying and hoping that the ceasefire holds. But we have a mixed feeling. People as well are very sad about all the deaths and the casualties.
Many bodies are still buried under the rubble. The non-stop Israeli attacks meant paramedics and teams of volunteers were unable to retrieve them. The Gaza Health Ministry estimates nearly 15,000 Palestinians have been killed, most of them women and children. More than 80% of the population has been displaced. And the healthcare system has collapsed. The ceasefire will offer the injured an opportunity to seek treatment at hospitals in Egypt. During the 4-day period, Hamas is to release 50 Israeli women and children held captive since the October the 7th attack. In return, Israel is expected to free 150 Palestinians, also women and children, detained in its prisons.
There is, first of all, public support to release as many hostages as possible, namely all of them. And then there is a support of continuing the war, because it was declared that one of the main goals, maybe the main goal, was crushing Hamas. This didn't happen yet, by all means not. And therefore there will be support for continuing the war.
Humanitarian aid has started flowing into Gaza from Egypt. Hamas says about 230 trucks of water, food, medical supplies and fuel are expected on Friday. Mike Leppel, Al Jazeera.
This brings us to the end of our regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-day weather forecast. And that's CIFTV2 Headline News for this Friday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. We will be off for the weekend, but you can tune in on Monday at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other and do have a wonderful weekend.